So what does this tell us? Both the number of transactions increased and the price. Today's video, I'm going to go through some figures and numbers for the fourth quarter of 2020 and determine which areas were hit the hardest, which areas held up the best, and give you some more context. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Realtron Realty Inc. As always, you can find my contact information in the description box with regards to my Gmail, my Instagram, and my office. Furthermore, feel free to subscribe, comment, and like. Your support is much appreciated if you wish to do so. If not, you don't have to, and feel free to just watch the video and even dislike and unsubscribe if you want. So as I said off the bat, we're going to talk about the fourth quarter condo market reports that I just had time to go through recently, and I'm going to break down some major key takeaways. As I always say to you and my clients, or in some cases both you or my clients, I say, look, these are general figures to give you a general understanding. If you want to have a detailed understanding, you have to refine down your search way more and focus not only on a specific community, but a specific neighborhood, but a specific street and property types on that street, right? And that's just an example, right? So having said that, let's go on with the video. In the fourth quarter of 2020, there were about 6,400 transactions for condominiums, meaning purchase and sale transactions that occurred in the fourth quarter in the TREB areas. Now you can think of the TREB areas pretty much as the GTA. So it includes Toronto, York, Peel, Durham, and more. This was about a 1,100 increase year over year if we're looking at this fourth quarter. So fourth quarter to fourth quarter when we compare it to 2019, wherein we saw 5,300 transactions. Now, why is this so? Well, because the condominium market, specifically, as we will get to it, in Toronto, experienced a great diminishment, and the Toronto figures, as you will see, in my opinion, inflated the number of transactions, because when you have both a seller's market and a buyer's market on both sides of the spectrum, you're naturally going to have more transactions. When it's very hot for that commodity, the owners of that commodity see that the prices are going up. Naturally, they're inclined to sell, so more transactions there. When it's very cold for that commodity, similarly, the owners, most often with condominiums, investors, see that their commodity is past its economic life and perhaps it's best time to cash out now, once again leading to more transactions. So with condominiums, we saw the latter of that occurring, and that's why the number of transactions is higher. A lot of investors listed their property for sale, naturally leading to more sales. So let's break down the areas more specifically. Let's go through the city of Toronto, York Region, Peel, and Durham. Peel, for instance, saw 810 condominium sales in the fourth quarter of 2020, with an average price of $510,000 per condominium. This actually represented a $10,000 increase quarter over quarter, because in the preceding year, the fourth quarter of 2019, the average sale price was $500,000, and we saw about 600 transactions. So what does this tell us? Both the number of transactions increased and the price. It means that generally speaking, in the fourth quarter of 2020, condos in Peel region appreciated, and it was a decent market for them. Once again, I do have to say this, and I'm sorry that I keep repeating myself, but it's very important for you to understand. Peel is huge. We have to look at specific areas within Peel if you want to have the most detailed understanding. While other areas didn't see a large decrease or increase, they actually just leveled off around the same price point. Moving on to Toronto, which makes up a bulk of all the real estate transactions, all the condo transactions in the fourth quarter of 2020, where the entire figure was off the bat, I said up top, 6,000. The number of transactions in the city of Toronto in the fourth quarter was 4,300, so 4,300 condos that sold for an average price of $644,000. Let's compare this to the preceding year, much like we did to Peel, where in 2019 there were 3,800 transactions. We went from 3,800 to 4,300. Once again, an increase of the number of sales, but the price was $660,000. So much unlike Peel, here we have an increase in the number of sales, but a decrease in price. What does this tell us? Well, it tells us quite the opposite. It tells us that it was very much so a buyer's market, because The number of transactions were increased, so more sales occurred, but that with conjunction with the fact that the prices fell shows us that the reason there were more transactions was not because it was a hot market. As I said earlier in the video, it was a colder market for sellers, and they decided, mostly investors, to offload the property in a colder market and take whatever profits they accumulated or cut losses in certain cases. Where I think the condo market is actually the strongest, and we're going to get to it right now, according to these numbers and other numbers and trends I've discussed in other videos, is York region. I would say most specifically the city of Richmond Hill, maybe Vaughan a bit, although not much as Richmond Hill, but the central areas of the York region. Because not only did both the number of transactions and price go up, but price went up considerably so. More than my initial intuitions would lead me to believe. Based on 764 transactions in the year 2020, we had the average price of $573,000 in York region. This once again was an increase both in the number of transactions, where in the fourth quarter of 2019, we had 490 with an average price of $539. This is why in other videos and to my clients, I've said, look, if you're looking for immediate cash flow, so you're gonna buy a rental unit, or rather, sorry, you're gonna buy a condominium and immediately rent it out. You're not gonna live there for a year to 2 years to 3 years. Where you should look is most likely Richmond Hill or Vaughan, because the condominium markets have held up, in some cases have been stronger, and more so the rental markets in those areas have held up as well, although they have declined, not substantially so like the city of Toronto or especially downtown. Anyways, that's a quick rundown of the major areas. There's other areas, and as I always said, you can break down all these big areas, as I have done in the previous videos, to specific neighborhoods and communities where it's a matter of a few blocks. So go watch those videos for more detailed breakdowns of the downtown and midtown area. I'll do one for North York and so on and so forth. However, if you happen to enjoy this video and find it informative, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. Furthermore, if you have any further questions, get in touch with me. My contact info, description box, or you can ask it in the comments. I would be happy to help. Anyways, thanks for watching and stay safe.